Happy New Year's, everybody! It's Dominic the Primetime Treasure Hunter jumping right into 2019 with a new video for you. I was going to do this video yesterday, but I said, no, you know what? I'm going to hold off and I'm going to make this the first one of 2019. Because this is a topic, the whole notion of whether or not you should do free shipping versus calculated shipping, that comes up over and over again in various conversations and social media. And I've certainly covered it within my own Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. The link to that's down below if you'd like to join it. People have asked me to actually do a video on my rationale behind doing free shipping for everything. And that's what I'm going to get into with you today. This is also a topic that has come up periodically on my live shows. If you've been on those, you'll see me going back and forth a little bit, just jokingly with Noelle Griffiths. She's been a great early supporter of the whole Primetime Treasure social media network here, Instagram, Facebook, the whole 9 yards. And Noelle and I get along really well. There's no major problem or rift or anything. Hi Noelle, I know you're watching this, so dedicating this video to you, by the way. I told you I was going to do this. But Noelle and I have a respectful difference of opinion with regards to whether or not you should offer free shipping or do calculated shipping. Now, Noelle does calculated shipping. And actually, just so you know, if you're someone who does calculated shipping, my position on this is not that you should necessarily change what you're doing if it's working for you, if it works within your business model. So if you're continuing to grow your business, your net revenue is great, you're profitable, you're doing well within whatever area it is that you sell in, and you find that customers are generally willing to pay the shipping for the items that you sell, then my response to that is, great, keep doing that. It's very rare that anyone's going to have a specific model that literally works for everyone and for all cases. But does that mean you should never consider offering free shipping, or it shouldn't be an option for anybody? That's where I would disagree. And I think it definitely can work for you based on my own experience, and I've been doing eBay since 2000. Not continuous, but I have been doing it since that time. And I've done very well since I've jumped back into it more actively over the past year or two. If you look here, actually, I don't mind showing you my numbers. If you look here, over the last 90 days, I've made about 10 grand. And, it's right around 7,000 for the last 2 months. Getting pretty close to that number. And here's the thing I want to show you right here. If you look compared to the same period a year ago, that is 102% growth. And that is with a completely free shipping model on all items, light and heavy. And profit margins on this are very high. The reason for that, and this is the key, if you are going to be able to operate a free shipping model successfully, you have to be able to source the items low. That is crucial. If you cannot do that, then I absolutely agree that a calculated shipping model will likely be what works best for you. When I negotiate with people, when I am trying to make purchases, typically for large lots of items, one of the things I'm keeping in mind in my negotiation is what the shipping fees are going to be on this type of item, if it's light or heavy, that sort of thing. And I'm working that into my mind already when I'm trying to figure out the price that I want to obtain the items for. So I'm trying to, on the back end, already factor the shipping costs out of it and basically have those shipping costs pay for themselves in a sense during the negotiation period. But let me get into this a little bit more detail and just give you first a little bit of background before I go into something Noelle put on social media recently on Instagram, and I'll tell you her account and everything. Go follow her. She's great. None of this at all is meant to be anything negative towards Noelle. In fact, I encourage you to follow her. It's a Farm Girl Scavenger. That's girl with a G. And I'm sure you will enjoy her social media profile and all the things that she does, over on her pages. And so definitely go check her out. But so let me just give you a background before I get back into that. So in terms of just why in general I think that free shipping is something important to consider as a business model is, one, Amazon has really set the standard for that with their Amazon Prime and 2-day free shipping. Now technically it's not really free because you're paying for a Prime membership. However, you are getting a lot of things extra with that Prime membership. You're getting Amazon Prime Video. So there's a lot of other things that are being paid for besides shipping, and you're not no way near, if you use Amazon on a regular basis, I mean, you really are getting free shipping for a lot of the items. They're really subsidizing a lot of that. So people have come to expect it. And while eBay is not Amazon, that's definitely true, and eBay can never be Amazon, even though sometimes eBay tries to be. The fact is that Amazon is dominant in the marketplace, especially with e-commerce, obviously. And so they have forced other companies into a free shipping model because that's what customers expect. Now, I have done my own mini version of market research with this. It's not anything scientific, but I've simply gone around and asked people, and I've said, if you saw 2 items and one of them was free shipping and the other one was one that charged you shipping and they were pretty close in terms of overall price, which one would you most likely purchase? And you try this experiment yourself, ask people this. And I have found that most people say free shipping, even though the prices are similar, because people don't often like to feel like they're paying for the shipping, even though, and this is the funny thing about it psychologically, if you do it right, if you do a free shipping model right, they really are paying for the shipping, and they kind of know that in the back of their head, that the shipping price is worked into the overall cost of the item. I'm going to show you some examples of this in a few moments, but again, if you're doing it right and you're really thinking out the numbers, then the customer still is actually paying for the shipping. Now, eBay wants you, and they encourage you, because of these customer expectations in an evolving marketplace. They really want you to try to use free shipping for customers, because they want there to be a big emphasis on having the buyer have a positive experience. And since eBay feels a lot of customers expect that, they reward sellers who use a free shipping model. So that will give you a bump in the search rankings if you offer free shipping. eBay will give some level, their search engine will give some level of priority to that. So that's another reason, is a boost in search can help you. Now, another thing I've done with regards to market research is I've simply asked some people, and I've said, hey, are there instances where you would just say flat out, you're not going to buy anything if there's a shipping charge? And I've had a bunch of people tell me that they literally will not make a single online purchase if there's a shipping charge associated with it. Now, I'm not saying that that is the majority of the people. I do think a lot of people, probably most, do have an expectation that there would be free shipping. But there is also a segment, probably more narrow, that literally will not pay for items if there's a shipping charge. Now, people say that, and they're likely, even for them, are some exceptions. If the item is rare enough and something that's so highly desirable and hard to find, in those instances, those people who say that probably would pay a shipping fee. But for your average items that the average person is buying, DVDs, books, clothes, that sort of thing, those are the types of items that I have had people tell me they will not pay shipping for. So how do they factor that in when they are going to look for something on eBay? Very easy. Let me give you a couple of examples. Now let's go very broad right here, okay? And now this will give you some additional explanation as to why I do a free shipping model. If someone types in, and this is going to be a very, I'm going to do a general common item that people sell, and then I'm going to do something that's more niche. But here, if we just type in blue Nike men's sneakers, that's a very common item to sell on eBay, which would be men's sneakers. So I just put the color just to narrow it down a bit. If I just do a regular search, we get 10,936 results, so about 11,000 results. Now, let's say you do calculated shipping on your shoes. That's your model. You're calculated shipping. You refuse to, put the shipping into a free shipping model. You just want it just calculated. Okay, so if you do that, let's say we have one of those buyers that says they're not going to pay shipping on anything. What that buyer is going to do is they're going to type in the search term right there, blue Nike men's sneakers. They're just going to scroll down to the left, and they're going to click this little button here that says free shipping. And they're going to run the search, and now we have 3,000 results. That literally eliminated 8,000 other sellers. Now, you could counter that by saying, well, that means the majority of people are offering calculated shipping. True. But you could then go back the other way and you could say, well, this is a way for me to stand out because I'm in the minority here who's offering free shipping. And for a certain type of buyer, that could be what gets me the sale on that particular day. So I really like to, and especially in a competitive, crowded marketplace like eBay, and e-commerce, you really want as many opportunities as you can to connect to buyers. And that's why I participate in eBay's global shipping program. Before I joined that, there were some people telling me not to do it, but as I gathered more information about it, I just found that it made sense. And I have videos on that if you're interested in them. Just go check them out in my video archives feed. But the logic was, I am narrowing myself just to the United States when I don't do global shipping or international shipping. By offering that opportunity, I expand my marketplace significantly. Same thing here. You are significantly expanding your marketplace. Now, let's go into another area. I'm going to go back to Noelle, and I'm going to show you something she put on her Instagram account here, which is, let me go down here before I bring that up. This is what she put up. And it's actually, Noelle, I thanked you, and a smiley face laughter. This is what I've been saying I was going to do this video for a while independent of this. But when I saw this, I said, that's it. I have to do this video just to explain my logic. So I don't have to keep typing it out all the time. So I could just refer back to this video. But this is what Noelle wrote. She said, this is why I don't do free shipping, exclamation point. And so, the point here is she made sales. These are some sales she made, see? And she made sales, and people, she's circling here, people are paying shipping fees. Well, my response to that is, I don't deny that there are people out there that will pay shipping fees. And I'm going to show you why that is. Let's just take, for sake of time, let's just take one example. I figured I'd just take the Starbucks mug, okay? So this is the Starbucks 2016 You Are Here Oregon mug. Now, Noelle sold it for $9.99, plus someone paid $8.15 shipping on it. Now, let's go back up here. And what you're going to see, I did a search for the Starbucks 2016 mug, You Are Here Oregon. You see that? So this is a search for solds. Now, let's go back. Let's go to individual cups, find the same cup. Okay, see here, it's the same one. All right. Now, what it tells you, pay attention to this trend number here. It trends, that cup trends at $22.16. That's pretty much telling you almost what the average sale price for it. So if the average sale price for it is $22.16, that's the market rate essentially for it. Then not a surprise that someone is willing to pay $9.99 plus $8.15 shipping, because they're staying within the established market rate for that item. And the vast majority of items that you sell on eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, wherever, have an established market value that people are just not going to go above. Now, there are different types of items out there that are very unique where the price could go crazy and there's not an established market value for it. But for the most part, for the average items that you're going to sell, there's an established marketplace for it. So you could sell it for you could choose to do a model where you sell it for $9.99 plus $8.15 shipping, or you could try to sell that cup, and I did see it's gone now because it just got moved off the list, but when I looked for the other day, someone did sell this exact same cup for $19.99 free shipping. Now, think of it this way. That's also within the established market rate. If I sell that cup for $19.99 with free shipping, and I'm now the one who's got to figure out how to get this to the customer, you know, within the specified parameters of how I said I'm going to ship it. I'm going to do a priority. Well, there's ways that you could lower your priority shipping cost through pirate ship, for example, you know, depending on the item, the weight, the size. But let's just say for this example, the person lives close to me geographically, and I could send the cup out for around $6, $6.50, something like that. Let's just say $7, okay? If I did that, then I made, accepting all the other fees, that would be $13 in terms of a difference, okay? Well, that's better than in this situation where the shipping is $8.15 and you're bringing in $9.99. So you're still making more by doing the free shipping in that instance, and there was someone who sold this cup for $19.99. Now, there's other factors that play into it. Like I said, I don't know how much Noelle paid for this cup. If Noelle paid, you know, 10 cents for it, well, that's a big difference compared to whether or not she paid $5 for it. Same thing with the person who, you know, paid, who absorbed the shipping cost. So you have to know those other variables to know how profitable or not it can be to do a free shipping model. But let's assume they spent the same amount of money on the mug. They each spent $1 on it. Then in this instance, if you offered free shipping and you sold it for $19.99 and mailed it out for $7, you're going to make more than in this instance. Okay? So that's another way to kind of think about it, and another way to kind of rationalize how a free shipping model can work. But you really need to know, the shipping rates. If you are brand new and you're just jumping into reselling and you're watching this video, it really might be best, at least initially, for you to do calculated shipping. Because where people get themselves in trouble is if they have a higher cost of goods, they don't really know the shipping rates well, they just check off priority mail. Let's take this cup again. They sell this cup for, let's say, $19.99, and they didn't realize that it's going to cost them, that it's going to go over a pound, that's going to go across the country, it's going to cost them $11 to ship it out priority, and they wound up paying $7 for the mug because they're just starting out. They don't realize how they get these things lower, and they actually wind up barely making any money or losing money on the item. That happens all the time to people who are new. So you really, really need to, especially with heavier items, so you really need to know the shipping rates. Now, why do it with heavier items is because even with heavier items, it's the same thing. There's an established market rate for what people are going to pay, and I factor that in when I come up with my price. I look for what other people are charging for shipping, and I add what they're charging for shipping into my total cost of for the item that I'm going to list. So if everyone else, let's just say everyone else is selling an item for, it's a $50 item and they're all adding $20 shipping into it, and I want to be competitive with them, well, I'm not going to put it up for $50 free shipping. If you do that, that would be a legitimate point that that's a problem. What you would want to do is put it at around $65 so you're below all those people who are offering it for $70, and you've worked the shipping into the price that way. If you want to, be competitive and beat out all those people on lowest price. So you have to make sure you do that. You can't take out the shipping cost that everyone else is charging and then pay the shipping cost on top of that. You can't do that. That way you're going to lose out. So it's all about how you finesse it and how you do it. And you have to think it through. And if you accept best offers, which I do, I accept best offers. I did see someone say once on Instagram or Facebook group that if you're doing free shipping, they don't see how it's possible you could do best offers. Well, this is my business model right here, and this is all done with best offers and free shipping, 102% growth over the past year. And again, this is $10,000 over the last 3 months. So you can do it, but you just have to keep in mind when someone's making an offer, you're going to see, for example, where they're geographically located. And once you know the shipping rates and you know the weight of your item, or you have a general sense of it, is it going to be over a pound, under a pound, is it going to go first class, priority? You've got to work that in your mind and say, do these numbers work? If they don't, turn down the offer and wait till a better offer comes in. Another thing, if you're going to do a free shipping model, there's going to be a point where if you go too low, that it's not going to make sense for you at all. So there's some items where, yeah, you will want to turn off best offer. That's the minority of my items. There's a few items, I'd say a handful, where I just will not go lower, because if I go much lower and I factor in best offer, negotiations, that type of stuff, I'm not going to be able to make enough money on it. And so, there's some situations where you have to do that, but for the majority of the items, if you're getting things that people want and you're competitive in terms of price, they should sell within the first cycle or two. There'll be some lingering items here or there, but for the most part, that's how it should play out. Now, a few other things that I want to mention. Let's actually go to a niche area, okay? So this is one of my favorite comic books when I was a kid. Not a lot of people have heard of it. I just want to put them up on a YouTube video so I can memorialize them. Ralph Snart. If any of you know Ralph Snart, give me a shout out down in the comments section. I used to read him all the time as a kid. It's a crazy comic book. So I love comic books, and that's why I'm just putting something in very niche. So I just typed in Ralph Snart, and you can see here we got 246 results. But what if I want Ralph Snart comic books and I don't want to pay shipping for it? Well, I'm going to click the free shipping button right here, and now I only have 25 people that I could look at. So if that's my principal, I'm the buyer, I'm not going to pay shipping. Well, guess what? If I offer free shipping, I might, make the sale here with this person. And, let's sort it by best match. Let's see what the highest is in this category that someone's selling stuff for. So there we go. We got a $200 item right there. We've got some $161 items there, free shipping, $115 free shipping, $80 free shipping. So, the other thing just to keep in mind is that if you do free shipping, you are going to be motivated to make sure you find the most economical way to ship it. If you just have everyone else paying the customer paying the shipping on it, then you don't really care if the price is really high, okay? Because after all, they're the ones that are going to pay the calculated shipping fee. But if it's on you, you're now motivated to really master shipping. It's in your best interest. So that's another thing that's good about it, is that you really, really get to master those shipping rates. But even on heavier items, if you're shipping things out economy, a big bulky item, let's say something that's like 20 pounds or so, and if you factor in the different economy rates that you might have on it, like FedEx Smart Post, FedEx home delivery, parcel post or USPS, the cost could really just differ drastically. So that's why whenever I sell anything that's big and heavy, I've talked about this before, I just put general economy shipping, and then I look at the 4 main different rates, which is the 3 that I just mentioned plus USPS priority mail. I figure out which one's the cheapest and I go with that. And usually that might be like a $20-25 shipping charge if something is like super expensive, but these are on heavy items that cost a lot of money, not for me, but the buyer is spending a lot of money on the item. These are like $200 items that I'm sourcing for $10 or $15 or less, maybe max 20. So I don't care really that the shipping cost is $20 because I'm already going to clear over $100 on the sale. So, you know, it doesn't matter to me, especially since I already know what other people are charging for shipping for that similar type of item. In terms of the payment for that will come out of whether if you're doing calculated shipping, eBay will charge will actually take a percentage out of the calculated shipping. So they're not going to let you tell the customer they're going to pay for shipping and not charge anything out of that in terms of a final value fee. They are going to take final value fee out of whatever that shipping cost is. And there's a reason for that. And this is why, you know, me going back to 2000 with eBay is beneficial, because I remember what it was like in the old days. And in the old days, what happened is that you as the seller only had to pay for the item price. You did not have to pay for whatever the buyer was paying for shipping. You didn't have to do that. So what people started to do, and this is where sellers got a bad reputation, and as much as I love sellers and support sellers, what they were doing, not all of them, but what some were doing back in the day was abusing the system by putting let's say we had a $50 item, okay? And you had one seller who had it up for, you know, $49.99 free shipping or something like that, and then paying the final value fee on the $49.99. You had other people offering the item for $5 and charging $45 shipping, which is, for let's say a light item, for example, obviously ridiculous. And so that doesn't make any sense. And so what they were doing that because then all was happening to them is they were getting charged a final value fee on the $5 and not on the $45. Well, it didn't take too long for eBay to catch on to that and finally put the kibosh on it. And that's how they did it, by saying, you know what, for now on, we are charging you final value fee on the shipping costs as well. So you are going to pay some. If you're doing calculated shipping, you're going to pay a percentage out of what that person is paying for the shipping fee. So so keep that in mind. I don't think, let me see, I wrote a few notes down. I don't think there's anything else that I wanted to tell you in terms of you know, major advantages one way versus the other in terms of free shipping versus calculated shipping. I think I covered them all. Let's see here. Shipping. Well, one other thing just to keep in mind is that if you are doing calculated shipping, one thing, and this is a reason why I don't like doing it, is that you do have to enter the weights in, and you have to enter the dimensions in. So, like, let's say we took this item right here, and I wanted to sell it, and we just hit sell now. Oh, I got to log in and everything. All right, forget it. But what you have to do, you have to type in the dimensions of the box, and you have to type in the weight. And if you're off with those things, if you don't know that, then you could wind up underestimating and still wind up paying some of the shipping because you made a mistake. So that's something you have to keep in mind as well. Or you could wind up drastically overcharging someone for the shipping. And this is another thing to keep in mind, by the way. So glad I still just kept thinking, is that one of the main reasons why people have neutral and negative feedbacks left against them is they feel that the shipping charge is too high. Even though they pay it, they then later complain about it, that they felt that it was too much of a shipping cost. Well, guess what? If I offer free shipping, the buyer cannot complain about how much the shipping cost, because there was no shipping cost that they know about. Again, it was worked into the price, but there's no separate shipping fee to complain about. So that's just another thing to keep in mind as well. So those are all the reasons why I like to do free shipping. You know, again, calculated shipping I think can mostly work if you're new, you're just getting used to things, your cost of goods are high, or if for whatever reason, again, like I said earlier, if let's say you're not new, Noelle's not new, she's been at it for a while, and it works well for her. Some people said that when I followed the thread, that some people felt like comparing free shipping versus calculated shipping, that they were doing better with the calculated shipping versus the free. I would prefer to see actual numerical data on that before coming to any conclusions, because all things being equal, like I said earlier, my experience is the opposite, which is that people would more likely take the item that's has the free shipping versus the one that has the shipping. In fact, there's also, I have heard, now I don't know of the actual study, but I have heard anecdotally that there was a study that showed that people were willing to pay, it was like some business market research, were actually, unbeknownst to them, willing to pay a little bit more for an item that had free shipping versus one that had calculated shipping, yet the cost was lower because, again, they just were factoring in that they didn't want to pay for shipping. So I'd really like to see like a large-scale scientific market research study on that before coming to any conclusions that are firm in terms of whether or not you're going to make more sales with the calculated versus the free. Now, I'm sure this is going to open up a whole can of worms, and that's fine. I brought this up because my whole model on social media is, to have a supportive network with resellers and to be able to create a place both within my Facebook group, on Instagram, and here in the comment section where people can have a respectful dialogue in areas where they disagree. So feel free to drop your comment down below. You don't have to take a position. You may want to just share your experiences, and that's fine in terms of what you find worked for you. And other people could go look through that, and especially people who are new, and they could take what I'm telling you in this video, and they could take your experiences as well, and they could factor that into whatever their business model is. Like, for example, if you're someone who just sells the same type of thing most of the time, and it goes in the same size box, and it's pretty much the same weight, then putting in the dimensions of the box and the weight is not going to be a problem for you. But if you're selling something that's going to go in this size box, and then you're selling something that's going to go in this size box, and then you got to take an item like this and you got to put this in a box. I mean, that could be a lot of work ahead of time to try to figure out all the weights once you put the packing material in it and getting the right size box. For my model, it's too labor intensive, but for somebody else's it wouldn't be. So that's why I say there's really no one right answer to this. It's a controversial topic exactly because of that. And in every field and every profession, in every area of business, there's going to be topics in all occupations where people have some kind of hot button issue where people are going to always agree or disagree on. It happens in politics all the time, happens in all different areas of life, and this is no exception. Free shipping versus calculated, I'm certainly not going to solve the issue here tonight. No one probably ever is. It's just going to come down to, I think the right answer is, it really just depends what works for you. So use calculated if calculated works, use free if free works. I would just advise, just don't get in the mindset that there's no way that either approach could ever work for a certain person, just depending on what their situation is. Again, check out Noelle's page, and I'm sure she'll comment down below. So you could hook up with her there and converse with her. And also, again, follow her on her Instagram page. That's Farm Girl Scavenger, G-U-R-L, and it's just Farm, G-U-R-L, Scavenger. Check her out there. And hope you all like this video. If so, give it a big smash on that like button. Also, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure you come to the Facebook group, the Instagram page, all that good stuff. And as an announcement, if you didn't see my live show, I will have Casey the Rockstar Flipper on here January 9th for an interview. And I'm likely going to, although I haven't formally announced yet, I'm thinking of doing another live show for the 1-year anniversary of the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. So that's possible as well. And then a major announcement, huge announcement on an interview that's going to happen here later on this month. I haven't set the exact date for it yet, which is one of the reasons I'm not announcing it. Also want to get the interview with Casey over with first before I plug the next interview. But look forward to that. It's going to be a ton of exciting stuff happening on this channel. strap on the seatbelt for a wild ride, and I look forward to seeing you at the next video, everyone. Take care.